man.
Get it, let's get out. I don't think them gunshots was at full. They at full power or something.
Oh yeah, I was listening to something.
There we go. There we go. Now we got them gunshots at full power. J&J every day.
Let's get
Your
it,
boy
man.
Jason here.
Another day.
My partner JC to my right. Off camera, you ain't gonna see him or hear him. You might hear him. We got the
homie Meek in the building, man. Come on for YouTube real quick, man.
Real quick, you got
cameraman Meek in the drink, man.
Yes, sir. Hey,
yes,
we got
sir.
the homie Meek with us in the building, man.
And you gotta say something for the listeners.
Doing the behind the scenes.
You gotta just say what's up, man.
If you
Let them
need
know.
something shot, if you need some camera work, holla
what it is, y'all.
Holla at the boy. He behind the scenes doing some work. But man, it's Wednesday. We got a what? We got a potential elimination game. We got a series tied up 2-2. We got two potential elimination games and a series that's deadlocked 2-2.
But let's go to the breaking news.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but more importantly, around the sports world, especially in the NBA, we're still reacting to the shooting of Jacob Blake. I believe that was his name, correct? You feel me? So we're still reacting to that. More forget the games. That's what the focus has been on. And just a minute ago, Adrian Wojnarowski tweeted out that the Milwaukee Bucks have still not come onto the court for their game this afternoon, which I believe was a 4:05 start time against the Orlando Magic. They're looking to put them out of the series, and they're considering a boycott of the game. NBA officials have gone into the Milwaukee Bucks locker room right now to see what is going on with that. But at the moment, I honestly would not be surprised if this game is not played today, because you gotta think that thinking about it,
and the Orlando Magic have left the court, did they?
The Orlando Magic leave the court? Yes, yep. The Orlando Magic have left the court as well. Right now, it's looking like this game is not going to be played. You got to remember, Jacob Blake was shot in Wisconsin, and Milwaukee is in Wisconsin. You know what I'm saying? So this definitely hits home for the whole Milwaukee Bucks organization as well. So right now, there's 3 minutes and 56 seconds left until game time. The Magic have left the court. I don't see this game happening. I don't know if you do. What are your thoughts right now? I would be surprised if the game went forward at the moment.
I don't see it happening right now. I mean, because if they were, they would have already been out there, right?
I believe so. It might be the spur of the moment, which is why which is why they are just now evaluating these options, I should say. But I don't think this game was gonna happen. Woj just tweeted out as well that executives are outside the Milwaukee locker room, but they haven't gone inside. We'll see how it plays out. The Celtics and the Raptors are exploring a potential boycott of tomorrow's game as well. They've talked back and forth, and they are going to meet again. They will meet again tonight to discuss a potential boycott of that game. I don't believe game one of the Celtics and Raptors series, I don't believe that starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
I would bet money on it that game is postponed, especially when you think about Masai Ujiri as well.
And then some players are talking about just leaving the bubble, period.
Nick Nurse said, not a lot of people, not a lot of players, but he has heard grumblings from players that have said, I want to go home. I don't want to be here in the bubble. And I think we all have to remember the big hubbub, the big debate, the big discussion. You had players on both ends, you know what I'm saying, on both ends of it that didn't want to be in the bubble. We got on Kyrie Irving. I think I might have been. Might have been one of the guys that even got on Kyrie Irving. A lot of people got on Kyrie Irving when he said that we shouldn't come to the bubble. And a lot of people were like, "Well, you were never going to be in the bubble anyways, per se." Blah blah blah. But as things have escalated, as answers have not been given, as police brutality has continued, guys don't want to be in the bubble. They can't. They feel like their hands are tied in the bubble. I don't blame them, man.
Yeah, I don't blame them either. I was on Kyrie Irving's side. Mm-hmm. Well, not at first, but it did take me a couple of days to realize, there are way more important things. And just imagine being a player. Just imagine being a black person and, you know, you can't do anything about it. You can't. First of all, you can't even see your kid. Imagine if you do have an African American kid or a black kid or whatever that's around 14 or 15, and you're thinking every night like, wow, this could happen to him too.
Every night.
You don't even have to be that young. You be old. You be whatever age, man. Man, we done seen it down to 8 years old.
Yeah, I was gonna say we could. The list goes on. We have a very.
Philandro, he was old. He was pretty older. You know what I'm saying? He was like in his 30s. We've seen
kids. We've seen adults. You know, we've seen women. If you're black, you're under attack. I mean that point blank period. To your point, you know, if you got a kid or a wife at home, I mean, how could you sleep at night?
Or Jaylen Brown talking about he wants to protest. I think it was Jaylen Brown who
tweeted that. He tweeted that. We've seen him on the front lines, you know.
Say you want to protest and you can't because you're in Disneyland or Disney World, wherever the place is.
And, you know, when it goes down, you know, I think a lot of these players, you know, when asked in history, where were you during the boy, you know, and they don't want it exactly. They don't want to be exactly. They don't want their response to be, you know, I was playing basketball. You know, I was locked in a resort or something. So, you know, something like that. So I completely understand. I'm with them. But you know, when it goes down and when they're asked in history, where were you? You know what I'm saying? They're gonna have their response to be, you know, I was locked in the bubble or I was playing basketball somewhere. You know, and it's not sitting right with a lot of these players, especially the ones, you know. That really want to get out there and protest or, you know, didn't agree to come to the bubble in the first place. So we're definitely going to keep an eye, you know, keep our ears to the streets to see what happens with these games today and tomorrow and the rest of the week for that matter. We'll definitely keep an eye on that.
Yeah, just looking like the game won't happen today. They said that the buzzer sounded in the start of the game. Nobody's there. The scene outside the bus is from Malika Andrews. The scene outside the Bucks locker room right now. League public relations staffers, ball boys, and team league security is standing off to the side. Several high-ranking league officials are having conversations in the hallways outside the locker room. But hey, if they're still in the locker room, they're not coming out.
Yeah, I really don't. I don't see it. I don't see it happening. And you know, again, I love it. I love that. You know, that's a big shout out to the Milwaukee Bucks and the organization. I love it. I think it might even implore more teams to follow suit later tonight. I know, you know, I'm a huge Rockets fan. I'm looking forward to Game 5. But you know, I would, you know, I definitely would applaud them if the Rockets and OKC didn't come out and play Game 5. Same thing with the Lakers and the Blazers, because you know one thing that Fred VanVleet said. You know, I believe it was him. He said that, you know, we gotta, and here's what he said. I know it's not that simple, but at the end of the day, if we're gonna sit here and talk about making a change, then at some point we're gonna have to put our nuts on the line and actually put something up to lose rather than just money and visibility. I'm just over the media aspect of it. It's sensationalized. We talk about it every day. That's all we see, but it just feels like a big pacifier to me. And you know, I completely agree with him. I feel like, you know, if the NBA, if these players, you know, are going to make a stand, yep, the Milwaukee Bucks have decided to boycott games. I just saw Game 6, but yeah, if they're going to make a stand, then, you know, at some point they've been very good about keeping, you know, Breonna Taylor's name, you know, floating around. Players have been very good about speaking up and keeping her name in the social justice movement forward, you know, the symbolism on the court and everything. At a certain point, that's not enough. You know, at a certain point, if you really, truly do care, to Fred VanVleet's point, you'll make a stand and you'll say, you know what, damn it, I'm not playing this. I'm not playing today. I'm not going to do it. I don't care about the consequences. I don't care about the repercussions. Nothing can be worse. No consequence that the league is going to hand down is worse than what is happening to these people that are suffering from police brutality. So, and it has been decided the Milwaukee Bucks are not playing today. They have decided to boycott Game 5. So there's no basketball happening today at 4:05 p.m. As you can tell, it's 4:15 or 4:14. No basketball's happening.
I think the Rockets and the Thunder are going to follow suit.
I think it's just going to be a trickle-down effect. And it might be 2 days that we have no basketball.
So, I mean, do you
because
think
I
it's
don't
only
think
going to be
the
these
Celtics
2 days?
And that here we go. Now the can of worms is open. So now it's a big here we go. That that is a great question. Is it just? Will it just be the Rockets? I mean, will it just be the today? Do you think the bubble is? What do you think? You think the bubble is? Because again, remember, this was not a popular decision to come to Orlando and play basketball. Folks did not want it, and things have only
People
gotten
were villainizing Kyrie.
Yes, things have only gotten significantly worse since coming to the bubble from a social justice, from a police brutality aspect. So at a certain time, I feel like players, if the teams don't take it upon themselves to say, you know what, this is not good. I feel like players, like Nick Nurse said, he's had rumblings of some players that want to go home. I feel like some players at a certain point in time might stand up and say, you know what, to hell with this. I'm out of here. Just fuck basketball. It's not worth it. So what do you think? If you had personally, I don't think that. I think the bubble will still continue.
How?
I don't know. I just think it'll still continue. Because they're so close to the end of the season. You feel me? You've made it to the playoffs. So I really do think that it might still continue. But man, I just feel like the NBA's put so much forward.
Billions of dollars.
Yeah, to have the NBA end. I don't think that they would, I don't know. But as far as, you know what I'm saying, as far as individual players leaving, I definitely think that will happen. What do you think they'll go forward with it?
I think it's entirely in the players' power. If the players decide they want to only do this for one game, then it will only be for one game. If they decide it'll be for a whole week or a month,
yeah,
or you know what I'm saying, if they do push it for a whole month, then I think that will just go ahead and cancel the season, because I don't know if they have enough. Because they are, like you said, they spent a lot of money, man, on just making this bubble. And I'm sure the schedules are all, they had to be, you know what I'm saying, exactly how they are. That's why they're playing after, you know what I'm saying, every other day. That's why teams are playing every other day, because the schedule is what the schedule is, and it has to end at a certain time. And that is because for the next season, you know what I'm saying, the next season has to start at a certain time.
Exactly.
And if they push it back a whole month or even a week, man, might mess it up. But I mean, hey, if it goes that far, it's just all in the players.
All in the players' hands. Yeah, I think the players hold all the chips. The league, I feel like, has done a very good job of listening to the players thus far. And I definitely think that they will continue that. Just to what extent, I don't know. I really don't know. But, man, again, kudos to the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm not surprised, again, when you think about it, how close to home that happened. I'm not surprised that they boycotted. But it'll be really interesting to see if teams today follow suit.
The top 3 teams in the East, if they all boycott for a whole week, I mean, that essentially, even if all the Western teams don't boycott, which they probably will boycott, but just say in some weird situation.
Some weird fashion.
Lakers, Rockets, everybody, we do not boycott. We don't care about none of that. We just go ahead and play. If you don't have anybody in the East playing, or
don't matter,
or the Celtics and the Raptors and the Bucks, no disrespect the Heat and everybody else, but yeah, if they're not playing, then it's either a big asterisk on this whole season, or they're just gonna have to cancel it, because you're not just gonna advance the Heat or advance who else is in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, at that point in time, I think other teams and players would definitely follow suit and be like, all right, you know what I'm saying? Enough is enough. Like we're not playing basketball, because you got to remember, outside of being on different teams or whatever, outside of being on different teams, these players they're friends with each other. They talk with each other, and they respect each other. So I don't see how you could be on the other end, you know what I'm saying, of of you feel me? I don't see how you could be on the other end of objecting to them boycotting or the teams, leaving or going home. I really don't. The NBA season doesn't matter at this point. Sports don't matter. And they never, for what it's worth, they never did.
Yeah,
exactly.
It never mattered at the first.
And the big fear was when you come to the when under the bubble, we're gonna forget about the social justice movement.
Well, not really forget, boy.
Talk about it,
less.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, less attention,
Folks
and which it really happened.
That
really did happen.
It really did happen. We were all guilty of it. I was guilty of it. What were we waking up thinking about, for the most part, every single day for this past 1 or 2 weeks? Basketball. They had games coming on starting at 1 o'clock from 9 o'clock. You feel me? The last game would go off at 12 something. We were locked in and focused on basketball. For the most part.
Even this show is a perfect example. Like, we were talking about Breonna Taylor and police brutality for, I believe, 3 or 4 episodes in a row. Mm-hmm. And then basketball comes back on. We don't even have enough time to talk about football. So, we had to talk about.
We're guilty of it. We put it on the back burner. We put it on the back burner. We focused on basketball. So, no Magic at Bucks. Rockets at Lakers. Rockets at Lakers. Rockets versus OKC. That is the next game today. We'll see how that plays out because there's big storylines in that one. Russell Westbrook upgraded from
right?
Yeah, upgraded from out to questionable. He may play today. So there's storylines there, but we'll see what happens with that game as well. He's a game time decision, so yeah, we'll see what happens with that game as well, man. But right now, big developments, man. Big developments.
2 coaches have been fired. And one of them we were actually just talking about.
Who?
Brett Brown, the last episode.
Oh, yes, Brett Brown was gone.
We were just talking about Brett Brown, and you asked should he be fired? And I think I said, he's going to be fired. He's not going to start his next season. Yeah. And as soon as we left the show, as soon as we posted the episode, he got fired, which is crazy.
And that was rightfully so.
He hasn't been winning.
He hasn't, and more so than that, there's been multiple reports of him just, losing the team, dating back to last season. Jimmy Butler coming to the point that he come to the sideline, Brett Brown not knowing what play they're going to run, or looking at him like, what are we doing here? So that's definitely, that was warranted. Next one was quite a surprise.
Yeah, Nate McMillan out.
Listen, they definitely ended on rocky terms, Nate McMillan and the Pacers. How often do you see a team list a coach's playoff record in the statement? I don't see that happen often. And to me, it's a head scratcher. Sources are saying that they want to go after Mike D'Antoni because this is his last year on his contract with Houston. So if he becomes available, that's who they'll go after. For me, I just don't. One, in a small market, and with the league revenue, the league money being in question due to the pandemic, he's not an inexpensive coach. You know what I'm saying? He's a top of the line. You're gonna have to pay big bucks for Mike D'Antoni. One, is that feasible for the Pacers?
Yeah.
Man, and two, but you gotta think small market teams. It matters. Small market teams. When you allot that much to a coach, now the rest of your team suffers. That's a question that folks
I don't think the coach's money
in Indiana is.
It's not part of the cap.
No, it's not part of the cap. But as far as having money to do things elsewhere within the organization,
these billionaires got that.
Nah. But again, in the league, in a season like this, where league revenue, league revenue has never been hit the way it has been hit this season due to the pandemic. Even going back to the China mishap. So the 2 fronts where league revenue was hit this year: China and now the pandemic. So a big name, expensive coach like that, a small market team is interesting. Further than that, I don't know who else they would bring in. To be quite honest, I don't feel like Nate McMillan did a terrible job. Okay, 3-16 in the playoffs. Got swept 3 out of the 4 years he was there. On the surface, that looks terrible. I will not lie to you. 2017.
Do you think he's a championship coach? I don't really see that in him.
Do you think Mike D'Antoni's a champion? Because I'm only saying that because, again, it has said that Mike D'Antoni is their target. So then I will ask you the question, do you think Mike D'Antoni is a championship coach? And
I'll say he's better than Nate McMillan.
Okay, but no, that's not the question. You asked me, was Nate McMillan a championship coach? So I countered and said, is Mike D'Antoni a championship coach?
I can say yes because he's been to the conference championship more. He's won more playoff games than him. Sure. If, in my opinion, the way I see it, you go 3 out of the 4 being swept.
2017, you lost to Cleveland to a combined 16 points in the whole series. And I might add, there's no shame in losing to LeBron James. 2018, you take them to 7 games. 2019, you don't have Victor Oladipo in the playoffs. He's out of there. 2020, this year, your best player, Domantas Sabonis, is not in the playoffs. Victor Oladipo's back, but he's at least, at the most, it's a 60% Victor Oladipo. Leaving your best player on your team as T.J. Warren, that is not a recipe for success in my mind. Should they have been swept? No. I think they could have possibly gotten the game out of this. But am I surprised they got swept? No, because watching the games, in my opinion, they were just outgunned and outmatched. In my opinion, watching the games against the Miami Heat, coming down the stretch, they were just outgunned and outmatched. Right. And Victor Oladipo wasn't there for a game as well.
Did you see enough adjustments from Nate McMillan, though, when they were getting outgunned and outmatched the first 3 games?
Yes, I did. And I feel like...
What adjustments?
And even...
Because I didn't think they were good enough adjustments. Or even what adjustments?
I saw him take T.J. Warren. I saw him try to have T.J. Warren come off of more screens after the first 1 or 2 games, have him do more off-ball movement because Jimmy Butler had him in lockdown. You know what I'm saying? I saw him give it seemed like Malcolm Brogdon had a longer leash to work with this series as well. But my whole thing, the last 2 postseasons, you don't have your best player. Your best player is not there the last 2 postseasons. I guess
what I'm trying to get at is, would you pay him for a 5th year?
Yes,
after being swept 3
You just gave him an extension a month, and that's another reason why I'm so furious about this firing. You just gave the man an extension. You literally
he's getting paid anyway.
Just extended the guy. You get what I'm saying? You literally just extended him. And now
you should keep him if he's not being successful.
And now after he's bounced, I don't think he got a fair shake. I definitely after these 2 postseasons, not having your best player, that's huge. What coach will you take away their best postseason player for the last 2 postseasons? Who might not get swept? Who wouldn't get swept? I'm not defending him getting swept. I'm just saying you take away a team's best player for the last 2 postseasons, any team is prone to getting swept. And that's a fact, in my opinion. Any team is prone to getting swept.
I'm just saying, man, it would set a bad precedent for you to just let somebody 3 out of the 4 last years, you getting swept, for you to stay on the squad. That just sets a bad precedent, because then now, in the future, if you do have another coach that's doing the same thing, you'd be like, hold on, you gave him the same amount of time. You know what I'm saying? You gave him 3 out of the 4 years, or I did better than him 3 out of the 4 years, and you kept him for another year.
Listen, GM Kevin Pritchard said 2 weeks ago, these are his words, not mine. What Nate has done in 4 seasons with our franchise merits this extension. Between injuries, changes in personnel, he and his coaching staff have adapted and produced positive results.
Yeah, that's 2 weeks ago. That's before they get swept by the Miami Heat, and they should have won a game. If you're saying they shouldn't have won any of them games, T.J. Warren is supposed to be getting locked down like that. You can't. If you're a coach, you can't. The guy is getting 50-point games, 40-point games, 30-point games, literally the weeks before, and a team has locked you up 4 games in a row, and you can't you know what I'm saying, get him into position for getting another 30-point game or a 40-point game. He's shut down like that. And on the other side, it's a legendary coach, or he's building his legendary status.
Eric Spoelstra's a legendary coach.
Yeah.
He is.
And so you need to get coaches that can adjust to what Eric Spoelstra's doing. Because clearly Eric Spoelstra outcoached him.
I had this debate earlier with my boy, too, and listen.
He outcoached him.
I do think.
You agree with that?
Oh, yeah, he definitely got outcoached. But, man,
if he's going to outcoach him, he's probably going to outcoach him next year.
I had them winning a game in the series, but am I surprised that they got swept? And would I say, no, they shouldn't have got swept?
I won't say they shouldn't have got swept.
I won't say that because to me, the Heat are definitively better than them, top to bottom, in my opinion. And again, I'm putting a ton of stock. I don't care. I'm putting a ton of stock in the no Sabonis and Oladipo being at 60%. Because in my eyes, what I did see in this series is the games were competitive, but what it came down to, in my eyes, was late games down the stretch. It came down to the Heat having their closer, a.k.a. Jimmy Butler, because he made plays to basically close out each one of these 4 games. And it came down to me, the Pacers not having their 2 best players at their full strength. Oladipo was a shell of himself. He was getting his legs back coming into this. But to me, he was a shell of himself. Sabonis, hands down, to me, he was the best player on that team this season. Not having him was huge. And I feel you on the T.J. Warren, his drop-off, you know what I'm saying, from the bubble going into his performance against the Heat, his drop-off, I will agree with you. That was inexcusable. But at the same time, I feel like folks are putting a lot of stock into T.J. Warren's 30 and 54 performances. Because, listen, when he was on the Suns, he's a scorer. Is he a 30, 40, 50 point per game scorer or, breakout guy like that? Yes and no. I feel like that stretch that he had was a hot streak. Do I expect that from T.J. Warren? Would I expect that from T.J. Warren in a 7-game series? No, I wouldn't, because, that's not, in my opinion, that's not the T.J. Warren that I know and that I've watched in the NBA throughout his career. I feel like that was a hot streak and he was coming into his own, but am I surprised that it didn't carry over into the Heat series? Hell no, I'm not surprised it didn't carry over into the Heat series.
So you're an owner or you're whoever, you're a GM or whatever. You're paying this guy named millions, and you're saying, "Oh, it's okay. You got swept. T.J. Warren went off. You didn't even."
No, I'm not saying
it's okay. We're going to pay you another year.
I'm not saying, but because
Would you pay him another year?
Because I gave him that extension, I would let him ride it out one more year with a fully healthy team. That's all I'm saying.
With a fully healthy team, do you think he's outcoaching Eric Spoelstra?
With a fully healthy team, yes, I think they definitely have a shot to win this series, yes. With a fully healthy Victor Oladipo and a fully healthy Domantas Sabonis, hell yes. I think this might have been a 7-game series. You're missing an all-star. You're missing, you know what I'm saying? And you have one all-star there, but again, he's at 50 to 60%. You can clearly see he don't have the burst he once had. He's still getting his legs back under him. I get what you're saying, you feel me? As you're setting a bad precedent, but just again, I'm only making this big hubbub simply because the extension and the vote of confidence was given. That's the only reason. If there had been no extension given or anything, fire him, wash your hands with him. But because he got the extension, I would have let him play out that one more year under his extension with giving Oladipo a full year to get back to where he was and bringing back Domantas Sabonis. I would have gave him one more year to ride it out. That's all. Only because the extension was already given. All right, so you get to the end of the year, and then let's say Sabonis and Oladipo get injured again. Do you give him another year? No, the extension's over. I'll give him. I won't. But again.
That don't make no damn sense.
No, I'm saying he already had the extension.
They've lost 5 straight games to the Heat.
Had the
and I said, 5. 4 plus the 4 in the series and 1 right before the bubble. Bro, you got outcoached. He was not, even if he had all his players, he was going to get outcoached by Eric Spoelstra. Period. He was going to lose.
That doesn't say they lost, by the way, on the 14th.
Oh, yeah, you're right. But T.J. Warren wasn't even going off. It wasn't a good game, period.
Because the T.J. Warren-Jimmy Butler matchup is terrible. Jimmy Butler has his number and locks him down every single time they compete.
And my question is, if you get a coach that just can't get your main player on, your main player on the floor, forget all the injuries, then what are you doing?
Man,
you need to get a better coach.
And my point is,
do you think he'd be great enough to get to even the conference finals in the East?
With a full team, yes, I do think with a healthy team.
Well, I think you're wrong.
With a healthy team, I like this Indiana team with Malcolm Brogdon, Sabonis, and Oladipo.
Yeah, it's a good
fully
team.
Healthy. I think they do have a chance.
No, they don't.
Another reason I think he was fired is because I think they were last in the league per 100 possessions. Their 3-point shooting, I think the offense. I will knock him on that. His offense was Stone Age-ish offense, but even then still had a top 10 half-court offense, top 10 defense, and I get it. And another reason I'm like, wow, why would they fire him is because of who they are thinking of bringing in. If you have a clear-cut guy that you want to replace him, okay. But if Mike D'Antoni is the coach you're going after, for what it's worth, I don't know how much of an upgrade that is for what it's worth. Yes, Mike D'Antoni has been to the conference finals. Yes, great offensively, but it hasn't produced.
I think we can disagree on that as well. I think Mike D'Antoni is way better than Nate McMillan.
It hasn't. I love Mike D'Antoni. I love him to death. But again, for what it's worth, it hasn't produced as well. You feel me? As he hasn't been to a finals either. So I don't know. I just don't listen. I didn't like the firing after the extension. Especially, I'll go ahead and say it, he's a black coach. And I feel like if this was a white coach in this scenario, he'd be playing out his extension. I 100% believe that. Because I've seen it time and time again. A mediocre-ass white coach stay in his position. A black coach get dealt, a rebuilding hand. And once the team is kind of there, black coaches bounced. I've seen it before. So that also is adding into my frustrations of him being fired. I don't like that either. So hey, but I don't agree with it. With Gentry and McMillan gone, Doc Rivers is now the only black coach that has been in his job for more than 3 years. So we'll see where they decide to go with that one. But I just don't think that I don't think that McMillan was I don't think that he was deserving of being fired. I definitely don't. I do not.
Moving on though.
What you got next for me, man?
Not much since all the NBA is boycotting.
Well,
I don't even know if the games are gonna happen.
Yeah, we'll see. But for tomorrow, Game 6, Kristaps Porzingis. I think that series is done. What's his name? Said Rick Carlisle said that he wished he could be more optimistic about his status for tomorrow. That leads me to believe that Kristaps will probably not be ready for tomorrow. And I showed you this before we got on air. But I mean, I'll let you scale of 1 to 10. If you're a Mavs fan, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how worried you should be. 7'3" at age 25. His list of leg injuries, in my opinion, are very worrisome. Left leg torn ACL, sore Achilles, sore knee, sprained ankle, sore groin, strained quad, bruised thigh. Right leg, sore knee, sore hip, sprained ankle, sore foot, knee tendon inflammation. Again, I know it's early in his career, but one of the reasons the Knicks did trade him, even though they got back shit for him, one of the reasons they did trade him is because they're worrisome about his ability to stay healthy. Great talent, but if he can't stay on the floor, he'd be a great Batman. I mean, a great Robin to Lucas Batman. But if he can't stay on the floor, I mean, and his salary, then he's a $30 million what? Seriously. The series before last night was tied 2-2 with him having missed like 2.5 games because he got ejected from one. You know what I'm saying? With the fully healthy Kristaps Porzingis, series might be sitting here at what? 3-2 Dallas right now. You know what I'm saying? And if you're a Mavs fan, that got to be frustrating. You have to be worried, thinking about the future, because you know what you have in Luka. You know what you got in Luka. But Porzingis is, I mean, he's the big wild card, because as great as Luka is, if KP is not on the floor or available, when it matters, the Dallas Mavericks will not be able to win a title or even get to the Western Conference Finals, in my opinion. So I think that is something that we're going to definitely be paying attention to in these next coming years, man, is his availability and his health. Because, again, I didn't agree when the Knicks traded him, but one of the reasons the Knicks did trade him is because his health was not available to stay on the floor.
Yeah, very troubling for Dallas. But dating back to Monday, we're just going to run back past the games that we did go by. The Bucks, they smashed on the Magic. The Magic did make it a little interesting throughout the halftime, but then, it ends like that. OKC beat the Houston Rockets again. Schroeder with a playoff career high 30 points. Chris Paul with 26. Hey, man, y'all have not won since he was rapping about that.
Hey, man. Hey, listen. Listen. My boy Russ about to come in the door and save us. Save them. Hey, listen. You better believe if we lose this series and Russ don't play a minute, I'm going to be sitting back here looking at y'all dead ass in the camera like, who's we? Who is we? You see what the hell I got behind me? We didn't lose anything.
I thought you was about to say you about to just bounce back to being a Thunder fan real quick.
No.
You might as well.
I'll be looking at y'all. I'm looking at y'all like, who was we? We didn't do, we were absent for this group project. You know what I'm saying? We was not here. But he has been updated to questionable or a game time decision, should I say, for this game. If this game is even played.
Yeah, I don't believe it's going to be played.
If any game today is played. So we'll keep it
like we mentioned earlier, Miami Heat went ahead and swept the Pacers 99-87. Pacers didn't even score 100 points. 90. Ain't going to work for you, buddy. The Lakers, man, you already know, man. It was Kobe Day. We had a show out. Man. We beat them 135-115, and it wasn't even close to no 20-point difference, man. We was beating them up all game, man, all game. This is what it is, man. We're not worried. We got one more game left. Oh, and Dame Lillard is out.
Yeah, this series is over. If they play tonight, the series is over. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, this has definitely been the best series.
Yeah.
But it's been a toss-up between this one and this series and the OKC Rockets series.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. But this series, I think, got it. Murray, 42 points, 33 in the second half, 8 rebounds and 8 assists. No turnovers in the last 2 games. Listen, excuse me, I thought that the Jazz took their best punch and it was over. The Nuggets came out, turned up their intensity on the defensive side of the ball. I'll say that, on the defensive side of the ball. They turned up their intensity, man, and that's what they need to win. Donovan Mitchell still had 30, but they were able to hold Mike Conley in check with 17, and Rudy Gobert only had 11.
Utah leads 3-2.
Yes, sir.
Utah's going to take it away, or Denver's going to steal this? I got Utah still.
I still got Utah. You mean for next game, or you mean the series?
I'm talking about the series.
I still got Utah, and if Utah can close it out in 6, I have Utah. If it goes to a game 7, I think Denver will win because I think the momentum will be on their side again. So if it goes to a game 7, I'll go Denver. But for next game, I'm going Utah. I think Utah closes them out.
Last night's late game, the Clippers showed out as well, 154-111, man.
Yep,
this game was over very early.
Got back on track. He definitely got back on track. Believe he had 35 points in 25 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. He got back on track in a big way, and that's exactly what they need. 35 from Paul George. They had 32 from Kawhi Leonard. And to your point, the game was never in doubt. And Luka, you could tell, man, the man is he's on one leg and he's doing the best he can. But right now, this series is over. I think it'll be a 4-2 sweep. I said 4-2 sweep, but 4-2 win for the Clippers.
And man, Marcus Morris stepped on that man's foot on purpose, man.
Yeah, that's the big debate going around, whether it was on purpose or not.
That man did that on purpose. We all play basketball.
The league is looking into it. The league is looking into it. You know what I'm saying? To see what they'll do, or if it was intentional or not. If it was intentional, or if they feel like it was intentional, I definitely think that they will suspend him for a game. But we'll see if they deem that.
That's all I got today. I was just gonna shout out, everybody's listening. Of course, Silver Spring and Rockville is gonna have a big turnout since we live here. San Diego, number 3.
Okay.
Let's take Kentucky, LA, Concord, North Carolina, Arlington, Tennessee, South Haven, Mississippi, Gaithersburg, Maryland, Memphis. Oh yeah. You gotta get up there, Memphis. You number 10 on the list. Y'all gotta be up there. DC, Kensington, Moscow. I don't know. We got the Russian folks.
Let's go. That's the bots.
Hey.
Watch out for them Russian bots. They listening to us so they can steal the election through us.
Yeah, man. Hey, as long as y'all voting for Obama or something, say out there.
This man here.
Arlington, Virginia, Germantown, Mountain View, Murfreesboro, Brussels, Union City, New Jersey. Oh, yeah. Get them bets in down there. Temple Hills.
This man here.
Bowie, Nashville, Elk Ridge, Henderson. Oh, yeah, Millie.
Hey.
Dallas, Ashburn, Jersey City, Albany. We out, man. Everybody else, y'all only got one. Y'all got to step your game up. Hey, Vietnam and UK. I'm going to shout you out. I don't know where y'all at or who's out there. But let us y'all know who y'all is, though.
There are no games happening today. The Rockets and OKC players are planning to boycott Game 5, and this is going to trickle down to the Lakers game tonight.
The Lakers will boycott.
There's no basketball happening. Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. To your point that you asked me earlier, I don't know if the bubble continues. I don't know if it does. I don't know. I'm 50-50 right now, but if you ask me, shut it down.
If this lasts the whole week, it's gonna be shut down. If it's only one game, it will be back on. But if it's a whole week,
it's done.
It's already too late at that point. The season is already too late. You know what I'm saying? It's about to be fall and we're still watching basketball. You know what I'm saying? It's too late here. You know? But
that's J&J every day.
We'll see you guys on what? What's today? Wednesday.
We'll see you on Friday. We'll let you know.
See you guys on Friday.
Games have been played between now and then.
Oh yeah, and if there are no games, I guess we'll just talk about what's his name? James Blake. I forget his name. Jacob Blake.
Yep.
Sorry guys.
We'll just speak about
him.
him.
That joint's way too traumatizing for me to be clicking on videos, man.
We out of here. J&J every day.
Stay safe. Shout out to me.